That's not the one. That's not the one. What was it? I can't remember the ID. Open a sky vector. EOP. Waverly. Start up FSU IPC. Make it connect. All right, let's launch the radio script. See if it goes. Boom, there it is. And then we'll launch the trim script. There we go. Test parking brake. There we go. Open Neofly. And it just goes. Let's look for something with some distance to it. Ooh, 175 miles. That's quite the distance. We'll fly back to Indy. Let's see what the boxes look like. Although I've never done it. Let's see, what's the advertising waypoint? No. Magic cup. Nectar of the gods. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this going here. Turn that down. All right, here we go. Going in. Here it is. Going in. Oh. 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 Oops. Had Taco Bell earlier. Of the world as we know it. Cheers. Oh my goodness. What's up, T-Dog? T-Bo? Yeah. Streamed the other day. Or, yeah, actually, was it yesterday? Yesterday, day before yesterday. I don't know. My sleep's all messed up, as usual. But, yeah, so I'm just getting ready to make a flight or two. Trying to figure out where to go, playing some Neofly. And, having a Mexicoke. It's all right. Hey, tell me how. Let me know if this cameras and shit look funky. I changed, or if my stream looks funky. If you stick around, I cut my frames per second back to 30 instead of 60 because I've got 3 cameras that run, and I was having this weird flicker. So I'm trying to troubleshoot it. Let's see if I can get that up here. Yeah, so it's kind of weird, but 2 camera shots. But sometimes when I have them all on, actually when I don't have them all on, I'll see like this one over here. I'll go, or me. It's just like a glitch. It's not like a light type thing. Like it's trying to adjust a light. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm only seeing it on cameras, and it's that's the other thing I was wondering about if if it's a USB. Now I got all the cameras plugged into USB 3, so I wondered if I'm my bus is getting overloaded or something. Yeah, I probably need to do that over here because it dropped in, but that's not what it was doing though when it was flickering. It was like it looked like an electronic glitch, and it was weird. So hope my machine's not thinking about dying. Oh, it's so good. Right now I'm in Ohio, down at Waverly, Ohio, little podunk airport here. Cincinnati over here, Columbus, Ohio's up here, Dayton. That's where Dave Chappelle lives, and then you got Indianapolis over here. In case you don't know where that's at, you got the Great White North up here, Detroit. So I'm down in the state of Ohio right now. This was my last flight. Change that over. Just haven't decided where to go yet. It's funny because I used to make these same flights. Was on another service. I can't remember what it was though. Just doing these little podunk hops around these county airports. Let's go see what the weather is out because I do have a flight that goes to Indy. Looks like they're clear blue and 1,000,002. Now they're overcast. 3,700, but still VFR. I don't want to go east. Go to Willow Run. That's 187 miles. I'd be stuck up in Michigan. Oh, here, let's do the distance. Oh, Tyson, there we go. That takes us back down to Tennessee. 208, no, that's 208 miles. What's the weight? 295, that's good. That won't overload us. Let's take that one.
Transporter from dispatch. Good morning. The cargo mission will start as soon as you get in your aircraft and set the payload. The ground crew are loading the cargo. Stand by.
Let's see, where's the flight? It's 295 pounds.
Transporter. Cargo is loaded. You can start your mission.
Let's see, 125, so that'd be 75 each. And that makes us compliant with the weight, I think. Yep, we'll get more XP for that. Oh, look, it cut my fuel. Cut my fuel. Taking all the gas. All right, still good. Oh, this? I built it. It's the title of the stream, Custom Hardware Talk Desk Pits. General Aviation Flights, Neofly 4. I built this. I built this. I built this. Watch this. This right here is my parking brake. Watch what happens when I hit my toe brakes. Actually, let me move my head down so you can see. All right. So here we go. Damn it. So here's a parking brake in the cockpit. When I hit the toe brakes, this will drop, and so will that. Chunk. I don't know if you could hear that or not. Oh, watch this, it's gonna drop. Like magic, it drops on its own. So there's two. I've got what's on the bottom of this thing is just a bolt that goes through a hole, and it's got a washer, nice big fat washer underneath there that's bolted onto it, or yeah, nutted onto it. So there's two solenoid latches. So when you pull it up, it slides through the solenoid latches and sits on top of the solenoid latch. When you the way the Arduino's programmed and everything, when I apply the brake pedals, if the parking brake's engaged, it will send the signal to open the solenoids and drop it back down. Now that washer, when it comes up, there's a switch underneath there, snap switch, that it goes up against. So that's how it knows to. I can reach underneath there and touch it with my finger and engage it. But anyway, when I pull that up, it hits that switch and it says put the parking brake on. So then it does. It locks in place. Press the brake pedals, and then it releases. See my my trim wheel over here. So the Bravo quadrant comes with a trim wheel. I don't use this one. Usually I don't use it because I have my own here, which I had before I had this. Now here's what's cool about this. Let's turn this on. So my little trim button over here. This trim button works, but it doesn't do anything in the sim. What it does is on the script that's running for this console down here, which is a trim console. It's also got my fuel selector, so you can see my fuel. I can turn my fuel selector. I can turn it off, turn left tank, right tank. So I've got that on a switch down underneath here. But I also have this trim, so I can move the trim with my hand and operate it, or I can use my trim button and it's powered trim. So it's really cool. The way it works is the script that's running under FSU IPC is monitoring this button. And when I toggle it one way, it goes, okay, send the signal to drive the stepper motor to turn the wheel. On the back side of the stepper motor, it's a stepper motor. It's got two shafts on it. So one side of the shaft has the trim wheel on it. The other side of the shaft has a rotary encoder, which is just like one of these encoders on my radio. So, I mean, I could program one of these encoders to be a trim, and I could turn it and it would do the trim. But it's on the motor. It's tied to the motor. And so when the motor turns, or if the motor's not powered, I can use my finger and it still turns it. So that makes it go. Sometimes it stalls though. There we go. I think it's a voltage thing because I got it running on 12, and it should probably be on a 24. Here, watch this. So there's the trim. You see the one in the cockpit moves a lot slower on this plane. It varies from plane to plane, but like on the it's like the 737, the PMDG, it's like tick 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 tick. This MCP, I'm not using it for this aircraft, because this aircraft has a very basic autopilot. I do have an autopilot built into this radio though that'll work with it. Yeah, so the radio, the upper portion of the radio, I can use that with the, because PMDG uses stock, radios and stuff. I have a transponder. So I got my transponder here. If I flip this down, this is a multifunction switch. So if I flip this down, now you see there 2, 9, or 9 or 8 in there. This is my altimeter setting. So I can for the Colesman window, so I can look and see what the let me see what the nearest altimeter is. 3008. So we'll dial that up in there. This switch I put in here because I wanted to get as much functionality as I could on this radio panel. So up here you got COM1. Radios everything's turned off right now, so it won't move. COM1, COM2, and then you got NAV1, NAV2. You got your COM panel up here so that you can turn on, like this would monitor if I have a NDB tuned in on the ADF, then I would hear the Morse code. It would let that come through. This lets the NAV1 Morse code come through. This would be the NAV2. Which one's this? I think that's... Is it the marker? I think it's the marker. Although the light's messed up on it. There we go. So this is transponder. This is the left 2 digits. This is the right 2 digits. All these buttons are all these encoders. The dual shaft rotary encoders are really cool, but they're really expensive. So what I did is I'm simulating. So you turn the. Actually, let me turn the damn radio on so I can dial this shit up. Don't have these on switches. Oops, not test. So now you can see in the radio or in the because these are just single radios instead of the swappies, but the swap will still work on it. But like a radio like this, it'll just do the active. So you got your active on the left, your standby on the right. So to change the megahertz is just turn the knob, the kilohertz, push in and turn, and then you get you're basically your tens and your hundreds, right? So same thing down here, push in and turn, or regular turn, and then you got your nav 1, your nav 2. Now here's what's really cool. The multifunction switch, we throw it down. Oh, I'm sorry, that's in the way. And let's go this. And I think that'll work. And you can't see it because it's in the way, so let me turn my head some more. So we got our ADF down here. When I turn the switch down, the nav2 becomes the ADF for tuning in NDBs. So I don't know why that jumps. But anyway, this does the first 2 digits here, and then you push in and turn, it does the 3rd digit. That's the 4th digit, and then push in and turn is the tens digit, which I don't know why that's what's going on with that, unless it's just wandering on its own. I wonder if that's a thing built into the radio where it wanders like that. I don't get that. So actually we've got one here. Oh, check this out. Let me turn the music down. There's an NDB right here on the airport we're at, Waverly. So 385, we'll tune that in. 385. Take that to 0. And then let's monitor it. And there's your Morse code. Although, I don't know what that weird sound is. I wonder if that's because we're not started. Let's start it up and see what happens.
You're good to go. Contact the tower for clearance.
Turn that off. Hey, Yogi. Yeah, I streamed the other day. We're just talking hardware. I was showing Ertis and my my hardware shit that I build. Let's see. Okay. All right, I think we're good there. Oh my God, it's Kelzul. Wait a minute, let's put that back on. Where's it at? Here it is. Kelzul. What's this? Was I doing that today? Or yesterday? On my stream? All I said was training is stressful. And it sucks. It was the worst part of the job. Training people. Rumor has it. Rumor has it. They're not willing to pay enough to get me to come back. I do have a price though, like everybody else. I'd come back for $40 an hour. Wonder what the wind's doing here. Is there a windsock? Actually, Microsoft won't know anyway because there's no meter at this airport. See, I'm a retired air traffic controller. Thought you knew that. I'm not a vet, but I did work for the government. And after I retired, I was retired for about 2 years, and then I went back and I did a contract training job for about another 2 years, of which I only worked about a year because of COVID. Look at that trim wheel go.
Pilot from dispatch. Fly safe.
Oh, let's see. What's my heading supposed to be? 202. Oh, looky here. We got a heading bug. We can turn that in. Let's see. 202. 202.
So fly heading 202, stupid. That's the Big Ten Raji approach.
Yeah, war stories, from work. When I used to work when I was an inmate at Shawshank. Dude, let me tell you, these guys that are fucking quitting and thinking they're either going to get back in or they're just quitting to quit and go do something else because they're tired of it, they're fucking crazy. They don't know what they're passing up. All you got to do, it's like if you walked up to a person on the street, a stranger, hey Thiessen, if I told you that you could make around $100,000 a year for 25 years, but you may be stuck in a facility working air traffic control for 25 years and then retire on basically a teacher's salary for the rest of your life, would you sign up for that? Yogi. It depends because it varies from it depends somewhere in the neighborhood between 50 and 60,000. How about that? You work at a bigger facility, you get paid more. You work at a smaller facility, you get paid less. You work at a big facility, you can make 160 with overtime, probably $200,000 a year. But we got guys in the $90,000. We got guys in the $90,000 range that are fucking quitting because they're fed up because they can't move. And it's like it's 25 years, man. Actually, 20 if you're 20 by age 50. So at age 50, you at least have 20 years you can retire. 25 years any age. And it's the retirement's about, not including your TSP, is going to be around at that level is probably going to be around $50,000 a year to start. And you get to keep the health care benefits. American healthcare. It's fucking insane. It's insane that they quit. Exactly. It is. It is security. It's like the old saying about air traffic control is, you'll never get rich, but you'll never go hungry, because it's recession proof. You know, it's like a teacher's job basically, or police officers or firefighters. You know. The air traffic controller retirement in the United States is based on, it's the same retirement as federal police officers and federal firefighters are under. So you have 25 years of good time and you retire. If you go till age 56, and you're still, you know, on the boards, you have to retire. Occasionally they'll let they've been doing some waivers because they're so hard up for staff that they're letting some people stay. But the mandatory retirement age is 56. So I retired early. As soon as I had my 25 years of good time, I punched out. It was 1 month shy of 49, and I just turned 55. So if I was still working, I would have 1 year. I could work one more year as a controller. Yeah, yeah. You're never gonna run out of stock as a mortician as long as you don't screw up and you keep your certifications. I'm gonna set this autopilot here. We're just gonna do a little heading hold action, and then I'm gonna take a look at some. Actually, I could probably pick up volunteer from here. It's so strong. You know what? I have it memorized. 116.4. And we'll turn this on so it'll start beeping at us when we get in range. I think it's 116.4. I'll double check. Let's look at our chart. Oh, it's way down there. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. What's the course supposed to be now? Jesus. 201. But we probably got a wind blowing us 4 ways from Wednesday. Yogi, sorry about that. You know, I tried DCS. Hang on a minute. I tried DCS once or twice, and I never really got into. I didn't dump any money into it. But just, you know, I didn't feel like spending the time learning the interface and such. Oh, that's where you get the extra money, Kelzul. Wingman. Bullshit, you can be mine. Ha ha ha. Let's go take a shower. Little Top Gun humor. So, Teason, have you seen my my entire setup, or no? This is the part of the stream we call the tour. Oh, all right. Here we go, wide view. Maybe. I said give me a wide view. There it is. Let's see what's fuzzy, what's not. So, my head's in the way so you can't tell, but I'll show you. So over here we got the flying, right? I got my yoke, I got my throttle quadrants, my radios and stuff. And this side is the flying side. But sometimes I like to drive trucks. But it got to be such a pain in the ass to swap the yoke out and put the wheel back on. Something. Turn it down a little bit. So it got to be a pain in the ass swapping the wheel and yoke and pedals and all that shit out all the time, especially when you get some, bigger equipment and you make things sticky so they don't slide and stuff. So when I moved, I had this big desk and I took it apart and I took the drawers out and I'm like, man, this is big enough for two spots. I could put driving on one side, I could put flying on the other side. So that's what I did. So when I want to drive, see, this is on a drawer. So this slides is my sound. So I can bring that over here, and then I can drive. Right? Got my shifter. I made bought me an Eaton Folder shifter, and I mounted it on my G29 shifter. This is a G29 base. I got an aftermarket wheel for it. I built a. This is my newest thing, my latest and greatest. It's a turn signal, but it's fucking awesome. But wait a minute, the monitor's over there. Well, let's just do this. Come on over, monitor. Here I come. Look at it go. There was that flicker. Boink. Bring it back a little bit. And now I can drive. So got a rail system. I got a stepper motor in there. Same thing. It's just the same kind of shit that the trim wheel works on. So I got a stepper motor. I got a controller, Arduino driven. And then I made this little button box to drive it back and forth. And then when I want to fly, I just come over here, pull my drawer, bring my soundboard with me. Get back in position. I need to put it back on that. Uh-oh, looks like we're heading into some weather. Hey, we're picking up, oh, I'm not hearing it though. Oh, it's because of the volume's turned down. There it is. Let's see, where's volunteer? Here it is. Yep, that's it. We have properly identified it. Well, let's center this up to, and let's do the VR hold, and let's get the shit. Hurry up, catch the altitude while we're at 5,000. There we go. All right, we know you're you. And then let's get back to the main screen. It's, it's some people ask me about it, like, oh my god, what'd that cost you and stuff, and how much, you got all this stuff and things, and I got a 32-inch monitor. I'm playing on 32-inch 1440. In my opinion, is the sweet spot for gaming. But all of this, it wasn't all like just boom overnight. It's been piece by piece by piece by piece. The reason. Let's see if we'll switch back again. The reason my monitors, I don't know if you see, I've got 3 across the top and then the 1 down the middle. The reason why I have it that way instead of the 2 on the side is I never do like the wide span screen gaming because I've got the track IR, so it's really pointless. But the main reason is because this radio is so tall. If that monitor was, that and with the 32-inch, the 3 monitors up there, the arms that hold it is only for 27 inches. Why are we turning? Okay, it's correcting now. It's only for 27 inches, so it couldn't do it anyway. It's not long enough. I'd have to get bigger arms. But like I said, this radio's in the way, so I usually have my stream up on the top right. I've got charts up in the middle, and then whatever the fuck I want over here on the left. Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to put actually, if I redid this pedestal some more, to make it 737 style, I could build a simple, the 737 radio is really simple anyway. It's basically this, but yeah, I could put that in. I could put that in there, but it's like this thing here won't fit in here because it's not big enough. I'd have to actually restructure the entire pedestal. This thing, the funny thing is, when I built this thing, it's just like, it's kind of like everybody's grandma had those little in-table coffee tables with like a shelf, and that's what this has on it. It's got a shelf, and then underneath the shelf is like behind a panel is where all the Arduino shit and electronics is, and then to mount the Bravo quadrant on it, I just took the Bravo quadrant pad, instead of using the clamps on it to hold it down. I just put some holes in it and screwed that sucker down to the top of this, so then I can, mount, just do this. It just mounts the same way, except I've got screws holding it down instead of clamps. Well, one of the projects I ordered some parts. One of the things I want to do, if I want to be able to stream more, but you know how it is. But I'm trying to get my stuff so I can get back into building things. Let's switch that fuel tank over. For the right tank for a while. Which involves soldering and stuff. I got the CNC machine. That's what I use to make this radio panel. A laser etcher. And so there's a lot of stuff, a lot of projects I'd like to do, and I would like to do them on stream. So I'm working on getting that. I've got it's called the Geek Forge in a closet over here to my left where my CNC is, and I was thinking about doing the soldering in there. I've got a hole in the wall that I put in, and I've got a vent system that I'm redoing right now because it's kind of noisy, so I want to get kind of sound insulated. I thought about running a pipe over and then basically, being able to do it on this desk as well if I wanted to, but I don't know that I want to do that. So I think I'm going to keep it resigned to that room, and then so when I'm doing builds, I'll do them over there probably, unless I can't get that blower quiet. If I can't get that blower quiet, then I may do a solder setup out here on this side. Oh Jesus. Oh wait, one of the new projects I want to do before I get into the how much it all fucking costs. I found these screens that are 3 inch by 4 inch, which is a 5 inch diagonal, and it's in the 3:4 aspect ratio, which is the same size and aspect ratio for the GNS 5. Was it the 530 GPS? And so I was thinking about making that. building that. I don't know how I'm going to do the panel and the buttons though. I mean, I can do it, the panel and the buttons, like functional, but I kind of want to do it, so it looks better. I don't have a 3D printer that's operational, so although I could probably find the buttons out there. There's probably places out there that make them. But anyway, that screen it's a HDMI, and I tested it, or I tested because I had another screen that was a 5-inch screen, but it's got the widescreen aspect ratio like a regular monitor. And what you can do, I don't know if you know this or not, in Flight Sim now you can press the right Alt key and click on certain screens. So like if it's like the like any of the GPS screens or multifunction displays and stuff, and it will undock it, and you can drag it over to another screen. So granted, I've got 4 monitors, so my video card's filled up right now. I mean, I could drag it up to another monitor, but I need to drag it over to the screen. So I got I had in the closet an old 750 Ti video card, and I stuck that in bottom slot on my computer, hooked the HDMI up to it, drug it over, and it works fine. It doesn't no noticeable hit on frames to run gauges like that. So that's what I was thinking. The other thing is that I bought 2 of those screens because they're coming from China, and if I'm going to buy one thing, I'm usually buying multiples in case A, it sucks, or B, I might have another thing to do with it. The other thing I would like to build, and this is a bigger project, because I can do it. I know I could do it because I've done the interface stuff before, but the problem is trying to get the aesthetic right. So like this MCP, I don't know if you can tell, but it's really kind of rough. It's made of wood. This is before I had a CNC machine, so this is like thin basswood. This faceplate that I painted, and these holes cut out were done with an X-Acto blade, a utility knife basically. But it's got some pretty cool things. One thing I'm proud of is this thumb wheel for the vertical speed, because it's a chair bottom for like to go on the bottom of a chair, and it has a hole in it. And basically what I did is I made a wood mount with glue and shit and I mounted an encoder sideways in there, and then I was able to take apart one of these encoder knobs, and inside the grommet and everything, the way it works, or not the grommet, the nut, the way it grabs it, it's like a drill basically. So you tighten the bolt and it squeezes down on it. So I was able to mount this thing sideways in there basically. So it's pretty cool, and it's rubber, so it gives you you got a good texture to it. But anyway, the other project that I would like to do is the FMC for the PMDG 737, the flight computer, and I haven't. Again, the screen will work that way. You can drag the screen over, so you can you would have the screen. You just have to have it hooked up to another video card, or have an open slot basically to be able to do that. The buttons and everything would be easy to program. I've done that shit. So back to your question on how much did everything cost. Like I said, it was, this is over years and years and years. I had a CH yoke. I still got it actually. Yoke, throttle quadrant, and rudder pedals that I had. That I was operating since like 2004. Up until the honeycomb, and I got the honeycomb during the pandemic. So, or right around before or right after, somewhere in there. So I had run that CH for 14, 15, 16 years, something like that. I'm surprised that Logitech, is that the Cytec Logitech? Or is it a Logitech stick? Because the Cytec, those Cytec yokes, from just from what I've heard, it seems like the anecdotal evidence is it's a dice roll on whether the damn things, continues to work or not. I think they had a problem with their, I don't know if it was the chip in there that was, doing the reading of the Hall effect sensors. I believe it has Hall sensors in it instead of potentiometers. So, well, like components for this radio. This radio wasn't cheap. These knobs were, $2 and change a piece when I bought them. Again, I bought in bulk, so like if you bought them individually, they were like $4, and then if you bought bulk, it got it down to like $2.50 if you bought like 100 of them. So I bought 100 of them. Fuck it. At the time, I had the money. I'm like, I've got other projects I want to do, so I always have them. That's the displays are the same way. So like the displays were, you could buy these. It changes the way these displays work. They make some better stuff now than when I built this radio. I've got some better things out there off the shelf, but it might cost a little more. These things were, these displays there were 8 digits basically. They were 7-segment displays, and there were 8 digits on 2 little display modules that were plugged into a board. Now the board they were plugged into, they weren't soldered in, so they were just like pressure push in so you can pull them out, and that's why I use those, because the board they were on, you couldn't line them up across here because it had pins coming out of it. So I took them off the boards, and then I soldered wires onto the displays, onto the board. So if I showed you the back of this, you'd see they're all hanging in there. I've got them tied up with twisty ties and shit, and that way I can move the displays around, I can space them out, I can stack them however I want to. So like this line, I've got them going all the way across. I just put, the panel is just in front. It's just blocking things. So it's like down here, all these things have 4 digits behind them. Even though it's showing 3 here, there's actually 4 digits behind the window. This one is running 4 digits across. So there's 4 digits here. There's 1, and then there's 2 behind here, and then there's 1, which is part of that center one, and then there's 4 over here. And then this has 3, but 1 is hidden behind here. So anyway, but with those displays tethered, I can move those around. And when I bought those, those were probably $4 or $5 a piece. But again, you buy them in bulk, you get them down to around $3. I might even got them under $3 at the time I bought them. The price of components goes up and down with the economy in China and everything. Well, the regular 2-digit now, like Microsoft Flight Simulator has 3-digit ones, but the way it works, like in the real world, it's that 3rd digit is like the carryover digit. And I don't know. I actually do fly on Flight Sim, so I will have to look and see if there's any ones that I can't get to. But like 124 point. What is it, like 87 or like 113 points? Is it 7? I don't know if that's like 775. Like there's like this is like 131.82. It's actually, I think, 131.825. The way the digits go, because it goes 0, 2, and then 5. So this is actually 25 because it's in between. But it just like drops it. There's no display for it because there's no need for it. The radio is actually, the frequency is actually a 0.25 frequency, and 875 is the same way. So, and then you got 995, let's see, 975, 0, 025, 050, 075. So that's how that goes. Yeah, if they've got some weird, really tiny ones that I'll have to rebuild a goddamn radio rig or something.
So we don't have that frequency, sir. So we are not compliant.
When I bought the yoke and throttle quadrant, I got them. Actually, I think I got a pretty good deal. I bought them from the X-Plane store of all places. They had it. They got it in stock, and I just happened to be looking, and they had them in stock. I'm like, oh shit, buy! At the time, and I think I can't remember what I paid for it. I can't remember what it, I think I got. Did I have the yoke first and then the quadrant, or did I get them both at the same time? I can't fucking remember now. It's been so long. You know, my steering wheel is base is the Logitech G29. So, you know, whatever they're running now. I think I got it on sale. It was like a Best Buy on sale, but that was years and years ago. They sell the shifter separate. I think it's still around the same price point. The most expensive single component outside of the video card, the most expensive single thing I have in my setup is my rudder pedals, of all things, because I've got the I've got a 3090. So I didn't, back when you could get them. I paid too goddamn much for it too. I got I won one of the Newegg. I had to buy it right at the time because I won and I had the money at the time. I had the when Newegg was doing those drawings to have basically get the privilege to buy one. I don't think it was bundled with some memory or some shit. And I was like, well, fuck, who knows? Now or never, right? And like I said, I had the money at the time, so. But my rudder pedals are the Thrustmaster, TPRs, pendular rudder pedals. And if I can't, because of the price, I can't say, oh, you got to have them. Right, because the reality is they're fucking expensive. But if you know you gotta, if you're building, yeah, I've got a desk pit. But if you're actually building a sim pit, unless you're like going to build your own, you know, or you know pull some off an airplane and build your own or something like that. And if you're balls deep into flight sim. I would say you won't regret it. Let me rephrase that. If you've flown a real airplane and if you're a pilot or have been a pilot in the past and you get them, you will appreciate them greatly because they feel so good, especially when doing crosswind landings, and they just feel great. Dude. Yeah, that just doesn't sound feasible. I mean, because even like, you know, I've looked at the 737 overhead, you know, and I could build one. I've thought about it. But it's time consuming. There's a lot to it. So, because the 737 overhead panel, especially the front overhead, you can break it down into, you know, it's got its little sub panels. It's, you know, it's got its whatever it is, 4 or 5 rows of sub panels up there. So you could start, you know, with one section and get your piece. And I know people have done it where they've got the, you know, with 3D printing and stuff, and they've printed the panels. I would probably cut mine out with a CNC machine, but I'd still have to get the measurements and everything. And you know, yeah. But who wants to spend $4 or $5K? The fun of it, you know, part of the fun of it for me is the hookups, the soldering, the programming. this, because I'm using FSU IPC and Lewis script. So this radio runs on its own Lewis script. This MCP runs on its own Lewis script. This console down here runs on its own Lewis script. Anything else in Flight Sim? Like my, well, those aren't Lewis scripts, but they're Arduinos. So on my driving, on my turn signal, it's on an Arduino that is acting like a joystick. So the turn signal is basically joystick buttons. The switches on my Eaton Fuller shifter for truck driving is on an Arduino that's acting like a joystick. So those are like joystick buttons. Check them fuel gauges. I talk about this before. This is the Just Flight Warrior 2, and the right fuel gauge for the right tank is a different calibration. So you got 0. This is 5, 10. Here's 15, 20, and full. The left gauge is 5, 10, 15, 20, full. They're all evenly separated. So it messes with your head when you look at it. So you got to look at how close it is to 20, right? So it looks like I'm about ready to switch back over here. I'll let this go a little bit further to get lined up with the 20, and then I'll switch over to the left tank. Track IR, track IR, track IR. I'll show you something. So, if it doesn't, and it's a payware plane I love, I will make it work with it. So, I think I didn't open that there. Let's see. Where is trim Lua? So the hardware, the way I have it programmed, so the Arduinos, they have a serial input output, right? So when it's hooked up to USB, it's like it sees USB, it's like a serial port for it. So you can send text, right? You can send characters through and things. So in FSU IPC, when you make a Lewis script that runs in there, you have to have a section in there that connects to the Arduino. It makes a COM connection to it. And so it can send stuff to the Arduino that you want the Arduino to have, or it can sit there and listen and wait for the Arduino to send stuff through. So we use codes, to signal the Lewis script, the stuff we're sending through. So like when so like the elevator trim, to trim up, whenever the encoder basically does a tick, it sends through a text message that says A02. It says, hey, do a trim up. If you do a trim down, it sends a A01. It's just a letter and 2 numbers. And the reason being is because it allows you to, it's a big enough code that you can associate it with it. So everything like that, up or down, rudder trim, I made R31 and R30 going through. Center is R32, so I've got a button. I got a rudder trim over here and an aileron trim as well for aircraft that have it, and I can roll that left or right. And then because it's a push button encoder, just like all these, I made the push button. You pop it and it swings the rudder trim back to 0. So it centers it again, because that can be kind of screwy. But anyway, I'll show you a little bit of code here. I don't know if you can see this or not. We'll make it a little bigger. So this is for my trim panel, and the fuel levers on payware planes are usually all different. So I've got a few planes, and these are the planes in Flight Sim I've got it coded for. So the Just Flight 20 PA28, which will also work with the fuel selector knob should work with the, because I think they've got the same stuff. Although I may have to. But anyway, the arrow and the turbo arrow, I think it's the same Lua variables. So basically I built a table here. That's what this is. It's not going to explain it, but this is for the fuel selectors. It's a table for the fuel selectors. So when I get a new airplane, I find out what makes it work. And so like most of these payware planes use Lua variables. So I'm going to write some variable, write a value to the Lua variable. So over here is what the Lua variable name is. So like in the Just Flight PA28, which I'm in right now, the Lua variable is called left underscore miscellaneous underscore fuel underscore select, basically. All abbreviated, right? So these are the values that the switch has. So off is 0, left is 1, right is 2, but then I've got a third spot because some of them have both. So I just make it a 2, so it doesn't go any further. These numbers here represent how many fuel selectors are active for this aircraft. So if there's one, then the left one is. If there's a 1 here, then they both are. I think that's how I coded that in. I have to go back and read. That's why all this dark green shit here. These are my notes for myself. This is the remarks, because I forget how did I code this shit? Who did this, right? You get in the zone and you learn how to do something, and then 6 months later you go back to revisit it because like, oh, I got a new airplane, I want to code it in. How do I put it? Oh shit, I can't remember. So what's cool about this table, and this is like some 300 400 level shit, for me anyway. What happens is like if I change the aircraft, I don't have to reload the script or anything. If I change the aircraft in the sim and this script is running, it will automatically change all these variables over. Okay, so the trim wheel in the 737, like the auto move, I don't have mine coded to do that. I could do it. Trevor did it with his, and because we talked about how to do it. And what it is when the autopilot's active, you just have to have the Arduino disable the rotary encoder for input. And so if the autopilot's active, you just have that disabled so it doesn't send. And then you go ahead and have, if the autopilot is moving the wheel, then have it move the wheel, in the open for you. But I don't have mine coded to do that yet. So this is like this A02. This is what the Arduino sends to the script to say, hey, send it up, send it down. And this is using these are the standard, these control things, IPC control. That's the standard flight simulator going back to Flight Sim 10 and maybe even Flight Sim 9. The control value, which just says, do a trim up. Give me a trim up notch. Give me a trim down notch. Yeah, man, it is. It's fun. What's funny is it really fires like. It was the fall of 2013 when I first got into doing stuff with the simulator, and trying to make something move. And the first time you make something move, like just a frequency swap, to hit that and make that frequency switch. The first time you do that, it just lights up all the fucking neurons in your head like fucking heroin. And you're like, oh, look what I did. Well, if I could do that one, I can make this one over. I can make one over here. I can do one for the nav. We can do the comm. We can do the nav. Then we get on VATSIM, we can just hit the button. And then you learn how to, when you first start off, instead of like a rotary encoder, maybe you're using buttons for frequency up, frequency down, or maybe you're using buttons to dial in your transponder or whatever. And then you learn how to do a rotary encoder, and then once you learn how to do a rotary encoder, make things move, and maybe even put some acceleration in or something to make it move fast. So like mine, here's something. Let me zoom in here. Oh shit, I thought I was on that. Oh, that changed back when I started moving it. Look at that shit. So I had on my encoders, I have acceleration. So when I turn it fast, the heading bug moves fast. Oh, there we go. So you can see I can move it slow, and it goes, you know, digit at a time, whatever. And then if I spin it fast, it moves it around quicker, to a certain degree. So most payware planes, like I said, the radio aspect of it, the comms and the navs, they work fine. Transponder, it works fine. I've actually got my transponder program to work with because there's offsets for VATSIM for like vPilot and stuff. So I have a let me show you. Oops. Yeah, turn that up. Turn that up. So you can see my transponder's off right now. That's just because I haven't touched it. But if I throw this switch over, it should go to altitude. There we go. And then when I bring it back, it'll go to standby. Because that's what VATSIM has. They don't have an off on their, you know, on their software. It's just a altitude and standby. And then I've also got this button here, which is the ident. And that'll work with the VATSIM software too. I am a little off course. Let's see what we're looking at. It's working on getting back to it. Actually, we could do it this way. Ding. There you go. We're going direct now. Let's see how that... All right, we're going to switch that. Here we go. Switching the little lever down here, going left tank. Boom, there it goes. Isn't that cool? That's, I know you can't see it with that, but the lever, the fuel selector levers that I have, like I said, I got two of them because the Milvizes, which they're now Blackbird, they're twin Cessna 310, which is, I'll stand by it. People hate Milviz for multiple reasons, but their twin Cessna 310 is the best twin engine prop. I'd throw money at it. I had thrown money at it, but I'd put money down to challenge you to find a better twin engine prop for Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's really well done. But it has two fuel selectors, so those, you know, when I have it on, those work with that. The A2A Comanche, another one of my favorite GA planes, it has two fuel selectors too, so those, you know, those work with it. So it's kind of cool. But anyway, my fuel selectors are elongated like this fuel selector right here. So it has it's the knob is, you know, like a long beak on it. Dude, I had their 737-200 when they had it. I think it started with, was it Flight Sim 10 and then Prepared, and that's what when I built this MCP, it originally worked for that before I had the PMDG, because this is actually kind of like a Sperry, you know, because they had the original one they had on Flight Sim 10, they had it working where it was a Sperry MCP autopilot, and it's missing a couple buttons because they didn't have it back then. So it's missing like the altitude intervene, I think speed intervene or whatever. So this, like I said, this is missing a couple buttons on it. But yeah, I like the 737-200. You see, I love the old school shit, the slant alpha stuff. God damn, we're still 115 miles away. I forgot to lean it out a little bit. we go. Yeah, it's been coming. It's been popping in and out on us. So still got ground contact.
That's all right. We'll just shoot an approach if we got to.
This does have a GPS in it. GPS 100. Oh, there we go. So you can see it there. I rarely pop out here. It's funny. You see most people streaming on Flight Sim, and they're always, GTA in it. If there's something interesting to look at, I will, but usually I stay in the cockpit. $112 miles. Jesus. I don't even know where that is. Somewhere on that pink line. They call it magenta. It's hardware talk. So my turn signal. This is because I bought two of them, right? If you're gonna buy one, you buy two. These things are fucking awesome, and I was thinking because of the size of them and how they work. Now they're quote unquote joysticks, but they're not true joysticks. They're not analog joysticks. They're just buttons. So when you move it, it just presses a button while you hold it. So it's kind of like, it'd be no different than just hitting a keypad basically, but it's just four places, 4 switches. But it works great for a turn signal because you just do a momentary thing and turns your turn signal on. You make your turn with the wheel, and then it turns itself off, or you click it again and you shut it off. But you can use it for what I plan on doing is mounting this on the other side and using it for windshield wipers and maybe headlights. Actually, the one on the other side I'll probably use for brights because it's got 4 places with the turn signal. Put the brights on it, and but the other thing is, like, if you do farm sim, what I was thinking about these, you get a couple of these together, and you got front loader controls, right? But even mounted on the wheel, you don't usually use turn signals in farm sim, so you could use these for front loader controls right there on the wheel. Well, I don't, I got no, my plane's not anywhere on here. So, because I always use Sky Vector. So I don't know where I'm at, other than I am 108 miles north of Volunteer. Now I suppose I could tune in the number 2. Actually, we could do that. We could tune in the number 2 and get a cross section here. Find something approximate. No, man, I don't do that shit. Now I might have to get, if I start flying, get into that 737 a little more, then I'll go, go get some navigraphs. Let's tune in Lexington 112.6 on our number 2, and then let's see. We'll find out which one of these 2 airways we're between. Let's enter it up to a from. Let's see. I don't have acceleration on the secondary one. I never put it in there, so it's a slow crank. Here it comes. So we're on the 112 radial. Those are T routes, man. 112. So we're south of Victor 178. Is that right? Yeah. And this is, what's this T route? Fuck, who knows what the course it is. So we're somewhere around here. Actually, we're really close to this airport. JKL. Let's see. I do have. Let's see if this works. Is it? Oh, there it is. Sky Vector. Watch. Ding. Ain't that cool?
That's the OBS thing I put in.
I'd see that airport out there somewhere. Or not. You gotta remember, I learned to fly and I started flying the fall of 1987 and got my private certificate in the spring of 88. And then the fall of 88, I was flying building time for instrument commercial. And that's about the time I decided by the end of the first semester, Christmas time, I think that's where I made the decision that this is too damn expensive and the pilot market's looking like shit, and I need to change majors and find another career path. And that's what I did. They had the co-op job, and I happened to get that, luckily. And that's done well for me. It's actually done really well for me because I'm a chronic kidney stone thrower, and you can get special consideration to be a controller with kidney stones, and it's harder when you're a pilot. Everybody's gone.
Let's go see Fashion and I say goodbye, see ya.
$98 miles to go. Yeah. Well, I had a buddy that stuck with it, and he's really frustrating for him. He's flying for American, and he's got a pretty good gig. He's got a really good gig now. It's almost like he's semi-retired because he flies international 787s, and he doesn't fly that often. So sometimes because he gets a base salary, and then they get scheduled, and since it's international, it's like a couple times a month, maybe something like that, weekends or some shit. I don't know, it's weird. But sometimes he's had it where he's had to go get recerted for landings and shit because it's been so long. But he, what's frustrating for him, and he's, let me see which way I want to put it. So like he had a fucking long grind, dude. He, he got out like the old way it was, So he graduated in like '89, went back home, started instructing back at his old home airport, doing that grind, maybe getting some right seat time and for some charter shit, and ended up going up to Alaska, bush piloting up there with like fucking Twin Otters or some shit, and spent some time up there. Eventually got hired by a box carrier, Express One. He flew 727s. He was in and out of American Air because he's always wanted to be an American airline pilot. He was in and out of American a couple of times, like in their. He was. Let's see. He came up. That was when their American Eagle was owned by American. Their commuter, and he worked his way up through there. Got into the big leagues. It got into the big house, and then he got pushed back down to the little house again because that was in I think '09 when the economy went to shit. 08, '09 crash. So he's back down. And then. They had all these old guys hanging on up in there that wouldn't retire and everything, and finally they started going out, and then he got to go up. And now so many people have left, all the airlines. There's been even with the COVID and slowdowns and stuff, there's a need for pilots. They've had a need for pilots. So now he's getting these guys that are in their 30s are coming up, and they're fucking captains of 767s, and he's my age, so he's going to be turning 55, I think, this next spring. And he's like, these motherfuckers, they don't know, they have no idea. It's like they just walk into these, without having to do all the fucking years of grinding and shit that he had to get up in there. And now he's not captaining though, because if you captain, you got to fucking fly all the time. So he just stays first officer. He's like Riker in it, it's kind of he's Generation X like me, right? So it's kind of the thing, it's like we don't need to have the top. We don't need to be the top. We just have to have enough to, support ourselves, and give ourselves a decent living. And that's what he's doing. Like I said, is for as much as he works, it's like he's half retired anyway. Yeah, he said he used to fly the 727s, man, Box Holland Express One. He would, I think it was out of Alaska, but then they flew across, they flew in Europe too. I don't know how he was over there, whatever. But he said the fucking 727 is what he was flying, 727. If I said 30, I was wrong. 727. He said that fucking plane, because it didn't have an auto throttle on it, you had to fucking watch it. Because it was an old fucking plane. He said it'd tear the goddamn wings off if you let it. Well, Joe, digital engineer. I think he might have changed his stream name now. He got hired in Republic. He got his certificates. Smart guy, man. Yeah, or whoever it is, he got hired by it. But he, good for him. But he's a bright guy, man. He learns that shit, and it's fucking. He's one of those guys that it's solid. I'm not that smart. Oh, shit. That sucks. Was that on his Discord or something? I don't pay attention to it. I don't pay attention to everybody's Discord. I think I got all notifications turned off. Okay. Facebook. Man, millennial.
So I don't do Facebook. Never have, never will. It's the devil.
Wonder if that is. I bet that is. See, that's that power line there. I bet that's this line right here. There should be a pond or a river just beyond it. Can we see the river? Might be a river there. Or a lake, rather. Yep, that's where we're at. But we could tune in London. 116.55. Yeah, MySpace. Never had MySpace either. That was the same back then as real geeks don't have MySpace. We have our own domains. Oops, wrong one. There we are. Actually, we're going to be north of London because we're up there, so it's going to be back this way, northeast of London. Oops, I didn't mean to change that. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! There we go. Get back. That's the problem of having both on the same encoder. I let off of it. We're not northeast yet. We're still on. There's 90. There it is. So we are 072 off London. So there's 90. Somewhere in here. Confirmed. I'm at a 5,000 altitude, so of course wait a minute, I'm going west. I should be up at 6 or down at 4.
It's where I want to be. Fuck off.
Just above freezing. Where'd you go, Kelzul? When they get the shit operational, it's coming along. I want to think it's sooner rather than later. I know they're really pushing. Trevor's done with camp now, so he's back and he's doing a lot of booth. You know, Trevor, he's doing a lot of development work now. So hopefully that'll help move things along a little quicker. We had Hill doing some stuff, and he was really good. at the stuff he was doing. I hear, and but he had, I don't know, life or something kind of got in the way a little bit, but I think he's working his way back to doing some stuff, and so Mike and Nick are working on shit as well. So. Yeah, no, it's empty. I mean, it's really good because everybody, you've seen the thing with the 5M and the whole user agreement and everything with Rockstar and their partnership and stuff. So everything is we're making everything compliant for the relaunch. So it's perfect that the fact that everyone kind of bailed when they did. It didn't. The question was, hey man, we're gonna close this up, we're gonna keep it going, and Trevor's committed to it, and it's like, okay, they're gonna pay to keep the lights on, we'll keep chugging away. So we put some effort in, calling out for some volunteers and stuff to do some dev work. EUP still hard to find, but we got some interior people that I think are starting to work on that a little more now. But we've had a lot of people volunteer to be testers and stuff. To when something gets done or whatever, whether it's a heist or robbery or whatever, they go in, they test it and see if they can break it. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if they're ever going to get that fucker released, and if it is going to be role play, I wonder if they're going to gatekeep on it. Who knows? But so anyway, we're actually we got people wanting to keep the lights on. We're in a pretty good position for the relaunch. I talked to some different people and stuff, and a lot of people were that I've spoken to are missing it. Want to come back to NRP again. So we'll see. When we do launch, we do have people in the pipeline that that know, like the police and shit. The officers will be on. I think we're going to make a big push to stream as well. Get everybody active. Yeah, well, the I don't know, Kelzo, if you knew about it or not, but 5M, the base, the mods built on, they partnered with fucking Rockstar, and so now everything now it's like if your server is not compliant with the cars and shit like that, if you're running McDonald's in there, and you got like Nike clothes, and you got Chevys and Fords and stuff, and not things that are different, they'll put the hammer down on you and shut you down. If you're still in the Discord, it'll be announced. Dora just said something about wanting to put a little teaser out, but again, it's hard to say on when it's going to be, because exactly, like precisely, because if you go, if you don't want to say, oh, it's coming soon, you do that, and then it's something happens, and it takes a month or two, and you're like, and then people are like, fuck you. But there's when you didn't have anybody to start with, it's just like a brand new server. So whether or not people come back because if they're pissed off or whatever, who knows. But sometimes a big long break's good too. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. The I actually haven't the test server that they're running on. I haven't even been on it. I've not done any fucking testing at all. Everybody else has. But you can set our biggest problem, and it was addressed by everybody. I think that or agreed upon by everybody, from owners on down, that one of our biggest problems was our rate of development. We don't have enough, and that's why we were trying to make the push. Foyt and I were talking about it. We were coming, to the same conclusion, and that they're just going to need to open up and allow, see if we could get some more devs in. If you don't have, and they did, but I think we need to hit it again. If you don't have dev work going on, for the new stuff, fixing the stuff that's broken and things like that, it's just not gonna, it's gonna flounder. Well, I don't know. What are you gonna talk about? Yeah. Well, everyone, observations and assholes, go ahead. He's typing away. He's going to tell us. He's going to tell us what's wrong with our server. How we screwed it up. Because everybody, I'll tell you this before you even say anything. Everybody knows how to run the perfect server. It's just like computer geeks and flight simmers.
I said they all know what's best. I know what's I know what the best airplane is. I know what the best equipment is. How to set it up. How to overclock the best. It's going to be a skyscraper.
Killzoo, you gonna start playing a little role play, or are you doing it already? Gonna do a little GTA role play? Did yeah, dude, it was all that first run in NRP, it was lessons, it's learning. We're all learning. I mean, because there's shit that we allowed to go on too long that won't happen again, and so we've learned a lot of lessons. Did you guys ever meet Florian? Did you ever see me play Florian? Yeah. Yes, Florian was the German. Hello. Do you like my car? It's small and black like my heart. When I first started playing Florian, I had trouble keeping the accent because I've done Melvin so long that the speech, I mean, there's some, obviously, there's some of me and Melvin, but there's some of Melvin and me, and so some of my affectations, the things that Melvin says regularly that just comes out normal, I started to do with Florian, and it's like, and even times where I was sitting there playing, hadn't seen anybody, talking to anybody, and then I come up on somebody. What Melvin does is generally when somebody comes up, Melvin will go,
I said, hey, how's it going?
And Florian met somebody and they came up and I started to go, hey, and how's it? I'm like, oh, hello, so I had to change it, and because I wanted to say, hey, how's it going? But and then I had another time I was in 57 miles from Volunteer. I had another time I was in, where was I? Burger Shot, I guess, and Dimitri was in there. I was talking to him, and there's some other people, and I fucking lost the accent. I lost the accent, and I was like, I started to go British on it, and I'm like, I had to like basically walk away for a second, and then come off the mic. I think I was streaming too, and maybe I was, I can't remember, but I had to basically off the mic, I had to go through my Florian routine to get back into it, where I go, hello, my name is Florian Klaus. I am from Günzburg, Germany. To get back into it. That's my starter phrase to get centered back in. Crazy Ivan. Well, me and Roshan, used to do the Germans. Hello, how are you? Florian. Hello, Ralph. Which is just a takeoff. All my German accent is a takeoff of Craig Ferguson and Josh Robert Thompson when they did their bit with the Kraftwerk bit. That's all it is. We are on the right tank. I cracked Dora up. I was playing Florian, and the funny thing about Florian, right? He dresses, because he's flamboyant, right? But he dresses like the people down on like some of the PEDs. I mean, he looks like a PED to a degree. He's not a PED. I made him look like. All right, man. Catch you later. I made him look like, actually like Florian from Kraftwerk. Let me show you. This is what I was going for. Let's see. Kraftwerk. Let's find a good picture of him. Images. So this guy in the front here, that's who I was going for, and because that's Florian. But so anyway, the way I had him dressed, because I was looking for a red shirt, black tie, but we didn't have it in there. So I had basically, there's a red shirt with a vest that you wear, so I would wear that, and like I said, he looks like the. Do you remember where Booth's cigar store was? Over on, I don't know if it was on Vinewood, one of those streets up there. It's where the rail car, or where like the train car diner is, and the comedy place. So anyway, I would go because flooring didn't work a job. So I would go dumpster diving, and I would hit these dumpsters and stuff. And of course, we would find drugs, you know, and then I would go out and I would just walk that road with all the pads around and sell drugs. But I would do it, you know, I'd sell a little bit and then I'd just move on, you know. And they are not drugs, they are party favors. Would you like to buy a party favor? And so I would do that, and then I would only sell like one or two, and then I would stop selling. And you know, I was dressed like a normal person. I wasn't like, you know, all masked up and shit and running and hiding and peeking around and doing that shit. I would just walk down the street. I would just, and because I had doing the casual walk, so it's very fimmy and slow. And I would just walk away from where I sold the drugs, just like the other peds that were moving away, and it would blend in. And a couple of times, you know, I was like walking away, and I heard this whoop whoop, whoop, you know, and they're coming around a corner, and they were going over to where I'd sold the drugs, and I'm just walking with the other peds, and my heart starts beating faster, and I just start giggling. But it was kind of fun, you know, and he was just casually walking. I hate, dude, I mean, this is just, you know, everyone's got their own opinion and perceptions and things like that, but when criminals are running around a city and they've always got a fucking mask on, you know, and they're always, you know, or a fucking motorcycle helmet, it's like, what's the fucking point? I mean, it's like just paint a poster on your back, you know, or a target on your back. Yeah, I'm a criminal. But I have other opinions about, you know, role play anyway. So, or at least the activity. 46 miles. We're on the right tank. Let it go to the little line, then we'll flip it over to the left tank. I'm working on parsing the rules down a little bit too. I need to get back in there and work on that some more. All right, thanks for hanging out, man. Got to see all my toys and shit. All right, man. Middleton. There's an airport. And then you are all alone. On your silly little stream. No one to talk to. The Great Smoky Mountains. Still got a little bit left. Empty. GTA view. Should probably get an updated altimeter setting. 3012. Yep. That's a little better. What do you suppose their internet's like? Down there in the hills. If anything is going on VATSIM right now. Well, there is.
Look at all these nerds. Oh my goodness.
I'm not currently on VATSIM. a long flight. $30 miles. Got 35, 36, 37, 38 miles to the airport, something like that. Stupid flicker. Well, I guess I might as well just turn it back up to 60 FPS. I'll just see what the VOD looks like. I'm running. Oh, Mr. Dane Flats. Wait, that wasn't good enough. We gotta give him a proper greeting. Mr. Dane Flats. I am the Arduino King. Actually, I got a Burger King crown upstairs. I should bring it down and put it on. I just gave it to her a little bit ago. To Mr. Thiessen, who was in here earlier. He'd never seen my setup. We're playing self-flying airplane right now. Keeping an eye on we're monitoring our fuel consumption for the left and right tank to keep them balanced. We're getting ready to switch it over to the left tank. I think we can do that. Let's switch it over to left tank. So here we go. I got my hand on the switch, and you see the switch down there, and we turn the switch, and the Arduino makes it happen. So we were over, just entered Tennessee, heading south, going down towards Knoxville. Gonna land at Tyson. Got the volunteer VOR tuned in, letting the aircraft navigate to it. And we are a little less than 27 miles out from the VOR. Got a little ceiling right above us. What are they calling it up here? This says overcast of 44. I guess that'd be about right. Knoxville's showing 4,500 overcast. Yeah, I'm in a Piper. I'm in the Just Flights Warrior 2. Oh, look. It's that Learn to Fly song. Did my light on? So yeah, I have my let's see what else. I got my radio set up, works with it. The little, let me get in here close. Do this. So you see the comm channels up here. I've got my buttons up here. They don't align with those because on different aircraft they can be different things, so they're actually aligned with A2A Comanches. But like, so we're dialed into the Knoxville VOR, which is 116.4 there. If I press this, there it is. I don't know if you can hear that or not. So we can identify it properly. And I got one for the Indy ADF, DME, marker. They have 2. I can switch to listen to COM 2 while I'm on COM 1, or I can press this and that'll switch us to COM 2 for transmit. It's pretty cool.
I said, of course it's cool. You made it, dummy. Why wouldn't it be cool?
That's Melvin. He lives in my head. Sometimes he talks. Sometimes he takes the brain.
So I don't take the brain. I own the brain. And sometimes I loan it to you, dummy. You are so dumb.
"19 miles from the VOR." Well, Melvin's one voice. I got another one living up in there. His name's Florian. It's one of my GTA 5 characters. Actually, there's my current Twitch profile picture it's Melvin in front and then Florian standing in the background. And Florian is based off Craig Ferguson and Josh Robert Thompson when they used to do their bits about when they had the Late Late Show, and they would do their Kraftwerk bits. "Hello, my name is Florian Klaus. I am from Günzburg, Germany." But it's one of my GTA characters. "Do you like my little car? It's small and black, like my heart." Had a little tiny black car for him. Florian from Kraftwerk's actual name is Florian Schneider. But I like saying Klaus better because it has an S. Klaus. So you can stand on it a little bit. "Hello, my name is Florian Klaus." Get a little, a little fimmy with it. Approaching Knoxville. Dude, that's not RP. That's not roleplay. That's money RP. There's some people who do car RP, where it's all about the cars. There's people who do money RP, but that's not roleplay. You should be able to. I had joked about. We're actually. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're getting ready to relaunch because basically we're kind of closed down right now. They've been updating. They need to update the server with the QB core and everything, and then 5M partnered with 5M partnered with Rockstar. So now their rules, their fair use stuff, they're going to crack down on these servers. So these servers that have, where they get the Fords and the Chevys and the Mustang, or the Dodges and stuff, the cars, people, the Nike, the restaurants that are like real world restaurants. It's not lore. They can shut them down. So everyone's going to have to change. So since we were kind of doing a revamp anyway, and people were committed to keeping the lights on, it's like, well, it's perfect time. That's what they say if they ever release it. you think they're ever going to release it? I think they keep changing it. I think they got mission creep because they GTA 6. I'm sure when they initially came out with it or had the idea, like, oh, let's do the 6. There was no fucking role play thinking along there. They were just thinking the video game. And then role play took off, and they're like, holy shit. But yeah, who knows? Anyway, I don't know exactly when we're going to be relaunching, but hopefully sooner rather than later. It's coming along, but sometimes development goes faster, and sometimes it goes slower, and it's really hard to make a prediction, and you don't want to say, oh, it's coming soon, or it's going to be ready, 3 Tuesdays from now, and then you hit the deadline and it's not ready, and then people fucking hate you. That's going to be huge if you can move around the cities and stuff. The problem with, GTA 5 is obviously it wasn't designed for it, so it's all hacked in, from the side. That will never, ever, ever, ever happen. But if you wanna own a mansion up on the hill, well, we might have a supporter level. If you want to pay a monthly subscription, and you can have the big MLO mansion up on the hill. Oh, one of the things I joked about was, or we kind of joked about is this is how if I was going to whitelist a server, this is how I'd whitelist it. You get somebody wants to join your server, and it's like, okay, and we want role players, right? You want good role players. We're not looking for bang bang shooty shooty. You can go to GTA Online for that. We're looking for role players. So how do you find a good role player? Well, you have a tryout. You bring him into like a test server with some admins and stuff. This is like if you had your druthers and you could do this, and then you place them in a ped, some kind of, or you make a character. We don't let the player do it. We do it for them. So like we could stick you in some little old lady or something and put you in it, and then you have to role play that. This is your test to see if you're worthy to play on the server. And then if you can role play it, set off. Then we give you a pass. How's that sound? You can go start your own server, dude. A nullion. Yeah, 600. Yeah, it's going to be 670 nullion. 675 null.
I see the airport. The lights are blinking out there.
What do you mean you don't know how? You don't know how to role play? Start a little descent here. Let's see what the weather is. What is the weather? Wind's calm. Looks like straight into 2-3. Left or right? Or is it 2-2? Oh, you don't know how to make a server? Yeah, anybody who wants to start a server, good fucking luck. it's it's the it's the worst idea ever that people jump all over. If you want to, I tell you what, you go into 5M, right? 5M is the the mod, right? That we run the servers on. If you want to lose your friends and hate the ones that you happen to retain, go join a 5M server with them and run it. Go run a 5M server with them. You'll lose your friends, and the ones that stick around, you'll fucking learn to hate. Well, if you want to play our server, you're going to get what everybody else gets. You get $10,000, I think, is probably what the money amount is. You get a phone, and let's turn that autopilot off here. You get a phone, and that's probably about it. And then you go find a fucking job. You bum. It's for the role play. Can't remember where the GA lot is. We'll go on the right side. I wonder if that runway's open. There's that cruise descent here. See, the airplane's it's trimmed out for 105, so that's what it wants to fly. So I've just pulled the throttle back. Let's get that mixture up. Now watch my as I start trimming this up. Watch the wheel here. But you don't have one of those. I'm gonna go to the left side. I don't think that runway's open. I'm not sure that it's open. The trees look funky over there. Sidestepping left. Ugh, GTA Online is the worst, dude. GTA Online is not roleplay, man. That's a multiplayer video game that people talk in. one notch flaps in. She's coming down now. Feel that back pressure. Oof.
Transporter from dispatch. Nice landing. Go to the parking and put your parking brake on. I'll be in touch.
Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your engine.
Let's go over here. The Sobo needs to get those that robot from Wally to come fix these taxiway lights. It's their traffic controller song. Keep them separated. Private sessions, huh?
Pilot, stand by. The cargo is being removed.
Don't hit restart. Did that by mistake the other day. Fucked it up. Mow! Time is it? 5:20. I'm
Pilot,
so tired.
that's all the cargo removed from the aircraft. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Let's see what we did. Oh, look at that. I got 146,000 now. I can almost buy my own airplane.
You can start your engine now.
Doom, doom, doom. I need to do some of the certs. Haven't done that yet. Where's the airplanes at? There we go. You buy the 747-800 for $404 million. I've got $146,000. Come on, where's it? Give me. These are all jets over here. Let's look at KGKT. Let's see what they got over there. Helicopter, King Air. 152, useless. 159,000. I can't even buy that. I don't know if the A28 Comanche is going to show up in here or not, if I need to do something. Chattanooga. Oh, there's a Cub. I don't want a 2-seater. I want a fucking 4-seater. I'm doing the grind, yo. Ooh, DC3. 7 million. Although I got to pass my my certs. Oh, here's a warrior like I got 200,000. I'm never going to be able to buy a plane. Just going to have to rent them all. Hot Atlanta. What do they got? This is Neoflight 4. So it's, it's a mission thing. Get your little airline type thing, whatever, or your own personal self, and then you just start. It has missions for you. You start off, and you get each. If you check enough boxes, you get bonuses and stuff like that, and then you get a rank up. So like my experience level is what we got. 1341 out of 3,000, and then I move up to first officer. So right now I'm like second officer rank. Neoflight's been out for a while. They had 3. I had 3 before, but I don't remember much about it. And I think 4 came out this summer, and it really it kind of makes me think of the original FS Passengers. There's also they've also got an interface for. I've tried it, but I'm just like I just use the desktop. But there's an interface built in to I think it's made by a third party, but basically it's built into the sim, so you can just click it and open it up. But I prefer to do it this way because I looked at it. I'm like, it's all kind of compact, like on a tablet sort of thing. I think there's something else you have to run with it or something to connect, but anyway, yeah. There's like different. So I'm at down here at Tyson, and so I think I can take VIP passengers. Can I? Do I have that yet? No. What is it? Take those. There. Oh, people doing photos. But you can turn them off to filter things out. So this is like regular people, and then there's like box hauling, and then there's like sensitive cargo. So it's kind of like truck sim in a way, where it's got the as you progress, you unlock more things to missions that you can do. So like I did a sightseeing. One of the first things I did was like a sightseeing mission, photo mission. And you take people up, fly them around the mountain or whatever that they want to see, and then like it was go see Klingman's Dome, which I know where that's at. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, So flew up to Klingman's Dome, flew around it, and you could hear the passengers, taking their pictures, the camera with the sound effects and stuff. Fragile cargo, I did one of those, and you got to be careful so you don't taxi too fast, you don't land too hard, that sort of thing, so you don't break it. But like, so the aircraft I've got, obviously, that can carry me and 3 people. So like, here's a mission, whatever minus my rental cost of the airplane, unless they let me own this. I'm not sure, because when I first started up, it was like, pick an airplane. So it's like 25 miles away. It'd make $4,600 if I make that flight. It's a short flight. But you can sort these by, I know it's probably hard to see because it's real fucking tiny. But you can sort it by distance or reward or XP or whatever. And the base XP, like I said, there's multipliers for when you set the, where's it at? So like on this page here, once you have it in, this stuff tells you like what you have set up right. So like if you got a payload, if you don't go into your aircraft and set the payload properly, you won't get bonus points. But if you do set it right, you get a lot more experience points instead of the base level. So if you're hauling 800 pounds and you adjust your fuel and everything so you can stick 800 pounds on there and you get it loaded up with 800 pounds and make the flight, you'll make a lot more. You move up quicker. This is what I've discovered anyway so far. Actually, let's look at let's see what. Yeah, see, all these are Klingman's Dome because it's close by. I'd rather do those from Gatlinburg, though. And you can also set like distance max. So I've only got the distance set for like 200 and some odd miles. Basically, so I'm not flying more than say 2 hours. But so as you move up, actually it's not going to go beyond 222 here because of the aircraft. And then the weight max, and then the passenger. You can set the passenger max and everything. And then it'll basically, like if I only want to take 2 passengers, then it cuts it down to 2 passengers or less. You can double up this way, I think. So you can take like if you had some singles, like if you had 3 singles and they were in different spots, then you can take one, take off, go to the next place, drop him off, and then take the guy to the third place or whatever, I believe. But I want to find... Ooh, that's not what I want. This is what I want. I can't find the A2A Comanche to rent or buy. I wonder what it costs to rent the Roanoke. Is that the I think I know what that is. Or is that the is that the scenery or is that an aircraft? Okay, Roanoke Airport. Could rent a Beaver. People have said they had the A2A. There was an issue with it though, where my arrows aren't showing up in here either. But they said there was an issue with it with like something to do with starting it up. I don't know if they fixed that or not. If it needed an update, where it wouldn't register the startup. So you had to there was something manually you had to do in here to force it or something. So I don't know why I'm not seeing the arrows. Yeah, no pixels 5M. But they're so like in 5M there's a bunch of different there's different packages that you can run. So like QB is like the big one where people download and get or whatever for that has a bunch of stuff already pre-made for it, and then people modify it. And there's a lot of packages and things that are made that'll work with it. But like No Pixel and some other ones, probably like Prodigy RP, and there's been some others that production RP too, where they've got a lot of devs, and basically the devs have built it, where it's not even running on QE Core. If it is, it's highly modified. That's the big thing. If you can get a group of people that are killer devs that can put the work in, and you probably want to make them. They probably need to be owners so that they're vested. But what happens so often is you see in the community is somebody's made a dev, and somebody pisses somebody off, and then one of your devs is crazy and vindictive, and they trash the place on their way out. They destroy it, sabotage it or whatever. I've heard about multiples people doing it. No, 5M's not free. To run a server like our server, it's actually cost more, but like for 128 pop server, it costs like $150 a month. You can actually run a server like in your house. Like, I don't know what the 5M license is. I don't know how much a month it is. So like if you want to build something, but like to get everything hosted and stuff, like what we have, it's like $150 a month, and that still doesn't cover some of the things that we pay for. I'm not paying it. The owners are, if they don't get donations or if they don't get subscriptions. So, but I think we're going to have a subscription tier for people who want to support and want to get a little something extra. So there's 3 people that own it. Trevor's one of them, which you don't know him, I don't think, or maybe you do. Trevor Hale. Cockpit Builders. He's one of the owners. Digital Mike, who plays Charlie Baker, is one of the owners, and then another guy named Nick. So we have 3 owners. We got 5 community managers, and then we have server admins and support people up underneath that. So we got a Zodius is out. He was a community manager for a time, but he bailed out of it. He got tired of everything and life. He had a lot of stress from his job and his general life, so he backed out of it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. That first year, we ran it. Like I said, I think we all learned a lot. So, and one of the owners, this is like his third run, running a server. There you go. Sam and his nose. That's what I was saying earlier. I don't know how long you've been lurking, but I said, you want to lose all your friends and learn to hate the ones that stick around? I said, join a 5M server and start running it. Our server's dead right now. We got nobody because we're shutting it down anyway because it's not compliant. So we had at our peak we had like 90 people, but that was kind of short lived. When we were when we were doing well, we were 60s, 70s, and into the 80s. The key, what I've noticed, is the key number. If you can get your population up to 80, up into the 80s, low to mid 80s, it's a big difference. The city is. It makes a big difference. It's very vibrant when you get over 80 people in the city. Well, it's because we've been shut down since I don't know, August or so. Basically, it's been dead since then. I've been doing other things. I started playing. I went ahead. Well, fuck, I'm gonna just lose a month or two of my life in 7 Days to Die again. I started streaming Flight Sim again, and talking to a lot of people, and I'm working on trying to get my my Geek Forge closet up and running so I can start doing some builds and stuff again. Max people would be, different servers have different levels, and it really depends on what you have running. So, what kind of MLOs, and that's one of the things that the devs are trying to work on, is keep it lean. Because if you keep the scripts lean and you keep the MLOs and the cars, the polys and all that stuff lean, then you can, you can have more people. So, the other thing it affects is this thing called, one sync or whatever, the syncing stuff. So if you have people with bad pings that are from, like, say, Europe playing on an American server, it can cause problems where the server's trying to sync between you two. So it may you may see a car here where the car is somewhere else in somebody else's eyes, and then it kind of drops and they do some weird stuff. So our server pop is set to 128. So other people's, they can go up. I've seen them, like a 5M server with like QB Core or whatever. I think well, those might be custom too, but seen them up to 200. Some of them have 200. I think Prodigy has 200, but they're probably mostly custom stuff. Um, 160 is the number I've seen floating around. Usually the people start off at like 64, and they get to that, and then they'll pop up to 128. Yeah. So now sometimes you'll see servers out there that have over 500, like 1,000 or whatever, and those aren't like role play servers. They may do role play on them, but those are those V menu servers where basically you can just spawn in anything for yourself. And they have because they don't have all these scripts running for, like, they'll have restaurants and stuff. You can go in there and stand, but you can't. There's no, you can quote unquote work there, but there's nothing you can do. You can't make anything. They don't have scripts running. So what happens, like if you get a server, say you get 128 or 160 or 180 or whatever, and you get it to where it can hold that many people. If your server's, even if you got it set at 128, you max out, then you get to queue lines. That's a nice place to get to. If you get to a point where you got, people waiting in a queue to get in, I remember hearing stories about people trying to get, they were accepted into NoPixel and just, waiting in queue for hours before they get in. They might get play at 4:30 a.m. or some shit. All the cool kids are in right now. Good luck. Let's see if we got anything that goes to Gatlinburg. We'll make one more short flight, maybe. Maybe I'll free flight over there. I think I'll just free flight. See what happens. I've done this once before without doing a mission.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
You're not the tower bossing me. All right then. We're gonna fly. We're gonna take off out of Tyson, and we're gonna go to the east and land at Gatlinburg. I got enough runway. I can take the intersection. We're going to do an intersection departure. She wants to come up. All right, I got trimmed. I didn't reset it. Dummy.
Enjoy your personal flight, pilot.
I
You
said,
can
way,
search
way
for
to go,
more
dummy.
jobs after you land.
You search for jobs. Oh look, it's the Great Smoky Mountains and there's clouds. It makes it look smoky.
Switching to the large machine, eh? That's the Alcoa plant. It's not a very good representation. You still flying it all, Samus? I need to sleep. Smokey. Smokey Big Gaming. It's streaming, man. Yeah. Did you ever get? Did you get the We Love VFR free scenery to put all the towers and stacks in? It's a must-have. What's up, Smokey? Oh, okay, yeah. I can't remember when the last time I checked for an update on that. It's not a very big download. It's really, I just... I'm a little amazed at like what Asobo prioritizes and does, and you know what they take care of and what they don't take care of. But I guess I might be a little biased. I suppose the thing is like maybe it's part of being human, you know, not liking change. So it's like oh, you're gonna create a sim and you're gonna put all this cool stuff in, but are we still gonna have? We still want the cool stuff we had before. We don't want to lose any cool stuff and just have it replaced with other kind of cool stuff, you know. It's like a standard. Like there's a base standard, you know, that you need to maintain. Go beyond the standard, sure, but you know, have the base standard. It's like antennas and stacks and towers. All that information is out there. It's in a database. There's a lat long position and an altitude for the thing, and probably the type of tower it is. Thiessen was in here for quite a long time. We had a long chat. Showed him the whole setup. No, I like that. See what the sun shines through. I remember when Prepared got that, you know, where the sun would shine through the clouds, and you get the light spots on the ground and the cloud shadows. I was like, yes. I want to get over here on this ridge because there's some towers on it, and I want to go see them. Make sure they're there before we go to the airport, which we can see blinking out there. Left tank switch. There we go.
Should we fly past the Pigeon Forge, the strip, and see if it's busy tonight? Decide where we're gonna go down there and get some barbecue.
Might have to pitch up if I'm gonna get over that hill. What do you think? I don't see those antennas. Oh wait, there it is. I see it now. Yeah, they're coming in. Might get some turbulence. Well, no, there's no wind. So I might get some turbulence off this hill. Check it out. Yo, Cam. There you go. Almost. Yeah. Damn it. This next ridge over here, I think it's that ridge. Just on the other side of it, there's a neighborhood. And the fires came through a few years back. It ripped up through there pretty bad, I guess. But there was a house that we stayed at one time when we went down there for vacation. There's a chalet. They call it a chalet. It wasn't a cabin. It was just like this multi-level house, but it was up on this hill, and it had a great view of the mountains over there. My wife was pregnant at the time, and so she stayed up in like this top room, and she just lay in bed and in the morning and just watched the clouds roll in over the mountains and stuff, and it was very beautiful. Raised in Cali. We're down in this is Great Smoky Mountains right there in front of me. Off my left, those buildings and stuff, that's Pigeon Forge. That's the touristy, the loud drunken touristy area. It's like a big long amusement park strip, museums and things to do, go-karts, things like that. The airport's behind me. I'm going to go back and land a little bit, but I want to go over this hill and see if I can see that neighborhood. Just over this hill, actually, that strip over there, if we follow it in towards the mountains, it takes you into Gatlinburg, the town of Gatlinburg. That's in Tennessee, by the way. But that big mountain right off our front is Mount LeConte. Looks like LeConte, but it's pronounced LeConte, I guess. It's got an E on the end of it. But up on top, those ridge lines that go up there, there's trails on those. And up on top of that mountain, there's a lodge. Mount LeConte Lodge. There's no electricity, and all it has is propane. And they have every year they've got these big giant propane tanks, and they take dozens of them up there via Sky Crane helicopters. The mountain's not that tall, relative to like say the Rockies. It's only like I don't know 6 or 8,000 feet, something like that. And anyway, there's these cabins up there, and there's this camp, and the only way to get up there, you can make a reservation for it, but it's hard to get in. You almost have to do it a year in advance or more. You have to hike up there, and you have to go up the mountain, and you can stay like I think max of 2 nights, and then you have to hike your ass back down. Cars can't go up there. They have they'll fix you a couple meals while you're there. Hearty meal, meat and taters and eggs and stuff in the morning. They have once or twice a week. They have a llama train. They used to use horses, where they have somebody down at the bottom of the mountain. They load them up, pack mule style, and they take them up there, and then they have their provisions, basically. There's Gatlinburg. So the place we stayed, I think, is just over here off my left somewhere. One of these hills, and it was beautiful because you could see Gatlinburg from there too, I think. But actually, we'll go up to LeConte. I'll show you where that camp is. So anyway, they had these llama trains. Like I said, they used to use horses, but they use llamas now because the llamas have softer hooves, and the horses were tearing the trails up with the horseshoes and stuff. So they have these guys that run these llama trains up and give them their provisions. They have some swag up there to sell as well. It's only open during the summertime, and people that get to work there, I think, are like probably college kids and stuff. And I think they work them like 6 days a week, and then you get a day off, and you're not allowed to stay there on your day off. You got to head down. They have a garden where they grow throttle up here. they plant a garden, so they have some fresh vegetables and things like that. We'll probably be able to. You'll see when we get up there. You'll see some structures for the cabins. But we probably see on the ground, like the satellite imagery of the propane tanks. And those are usually on this side of the hill. I think there's 3 or 4 trails that go up there. Some of them are steeper than others. The steeper one is a shorter trip, but it's a harder walk.
That looks like a trail.
Get my ass up there. There we go. Hold that back pressure. I'm not climbing. See if I can keep 500 feet per minute, or 400 or so. I have to fly around it before I can get up there. So the camp is like right along that ridge, but it's on the other side. So once I top it, we'll come back around over here, and then we'll be able to see it, I think. Over there's North Carolina somewhere. All right, here's the thing I don't like about Microsoft Flight Simulator. You guys aren't from here, probably. So you look at these trees, you're like, oh, it looks pretty cool. Look at those trees. The problem is at this altitude and just in this area, those would be pine trees, conifers, not fucking oaks and maples and shit. Oh, howdy do, not dogs. Just doing a little flight simming up on the Great Smoky Mountains. I'm going to fly up here and show the, see where that Camp LeConte is. This is Mount LeConte. We're slowly climbing higher. Although we might have a hard time seeing it through these trees, because these aren't necessarily actual trees, obviously. So it's just peppered. At one point, this mountain, all the trees on it were cut down. It was bare, bald, because of, there it is, because of the forestry that they were doing here. So there you can see on the ground there on the south side, those white things, those are all the propane tanks. And that gives them their light and their heat while they're up there, because it gets cold at night up there at frickin', where we at, 7,000 feet. Should put my feet on the rudder pedals and keep it coordinated. Ah. But anyway, you can't drive up there. You have to hike up there if you want to stay there. I think that's where they have their garden. I'm gonna throw up. That is the Bravo throttle quadrant. King Lou, 1998. Welcome. I like it. I mean, I can pick at everything. Let me check my fuel here. Hold on. Yep. Let's go back to right tank. Reach down here, grab my switch that I made, and I make it go. King Lou, I build hardware. So like I built this radio, I built this MCP panel, I built this console down here is a trim console. I don't know if you saw my trim wheel moving down here. It's a powered trim wheel. I've got a parking brake here that I can turn on. I hit my brake pedals, it releases it. So I do a lot of Arduino coding and interface it with Flight Simulator through FSU IPC and Lewis scripts. Oh! King Lou 1998. King Lou 1998 is now following me. And there's Scotty Too Hottie. Hey, man. So, what I don't use the. I mean, there's a trim wheel here I can use. I mean, it works, but because I had my own trim wheel made beforehand, and it's powered, so I like to use it better. But sometimes I'll reach down here. But if I don't have if my Arduino's off or something, I don't have it on, I need to do it. I'll use the trim wheel. I've only got 2 sticks on here right now, which is kind of cool. So you can, it's got the little covers and stuff. You can take stuff off so it's not messed up. Because sometimes you go over here, you're reaching over and you're hitting other things. But since this is a simple aircraft, it's just got a throttle and a mixture. So that's what I got set up right now. It does have the autopilot function on here. I believe it works. Let's try it. Yeah, see it turn the autopilot on. Much like the button on the yoke wheel. But I built my radio, so my radio's got the autopilot built into it too. So I use it more than I use this autopilot. But if you don't, I don't use any of the software interface. Like, I don't know if they have it or not. I think they did for like P3D or something like that. Although I haven't noticed if any of these lights work or not. I think I've seen gear lights work before, but it seems to work okay with Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can set up profiles. So I've got a couple profiles for it where I do basically, like a 2-engine jet, like for the 737, where it's got those, where I'll swap the things out. The first axis I'll have the spoiler on, and then I've got the 2 throttles, and then I don't utilize this for flaps because the incremental stuff, unless I ever got like those add-ons that people sell where you can click it up and click it down. So I just use the flap switch over here. The one thing that's weird about the yoke and the throttle quadrant, which may not mean anything to you, I mean, functionally, they work. So I've got like, let me get in here. So you can see my switches down there. I've got my fuel pump, it's on this one. What else we got here? Okay, there's our landing light. Anti-collision light. So what's weird about this is, and again, only if you get in the real nuts and bolts will it maybe bug you. Because I've taken the yoke apart, so I've seen it. These toggle switches, they actually show 2 buttons. So it's not just like one's off and one's on, which is like how a normal switch. That's where a normal switch, a toggle switch would work. One is off. One way's off, one way's up. Unless it's like a middle switch where it's like on, off, on. Like the CH throttle quadrant I used to have, and it had those little switches on the front. So you had up was a button and down was a button, right? So it's kind of like an on, off, on. Well, these are on and off, but the thing is it'll register up as one button press, down as another button press, which is kind of like the on-off, but there's no middle switch. Now, the reality of it is this is still just an on-off switch. Because, like I said, I took the yoke apart and looked at it. But it has it so that programmably in the hardware, when it's off, it'll say, like, or if it's on, it'll say, well, that's button number 15. If you turn it down, which is be off, it'll say, well, button 16 is active now. So it has a button active all the time, where it's one way or another. One of them is a virtual button, and the other is, like a real button. Not that it matters because it functions the same way, the way they built it. So it's kind of weird. There's our airport. I need to slow up and trim up. You watch my trim wheel, it'll be moving here a lot because I'm going to trim up. I'll show you. I'll give you a grand tour here in a minute once I get this on the ground. White on white. Let's pull that power. We gotta slow up. Get that back pressure out. Oh, here, let's show the, there you go, yoke cam. You can see what my back pressure is looking like. All right, now it's starting to come off. Question is, I might have to add some more power back in. Are we going to be able to glide it all the way? Still a little high, but that's fine. I haven't put in a notch of flaps yet either. We'll get a little closer. Now we're starting to hit it. Still heavy. Nose is still heavy. I'm still having to pull the back pressure here. Oh, I'm going to need just a little bit of power. No flaps? No flaps.
You greased that landing.
Goddamn right I did, lady.
Ace. Transporter from dispatch. Clear the runway and taxi to parking.
Wow, that trim was holding it up. So, let's see. So you're asking about the throttle. Do you have the honeycomb yoke? Okay. Oh, Thrustmaster stick? Or is that their like their 737 type yoke? Were they the ones that made that? I can't remember who made that yoke. The one that looks like a 737. Okay. Oh, that's the stick, the 16,000. So you're running a HOTUS? Hand on stick and throttle. Oops. Here, let's get this. I'm just gonna park here. Set the parking brake. See the parking brake right here? Right here? Right here next to the parking brake. Watch the parking brake in the cockpit. Brakes off. Boom. Lift that up. Now, watch the parking brake here on the console. When I tap the toe brakes here, boom, drops it down.
It's time to show off my toys again.
Everything is on board.
Great. continue, please. There we go. So I'll have to turn it back on again to show the radio stuff. Oh, I'm not. I'm just using my little flap switch over here. You know, some things are just good enough. So, so King Lou, I built this radio panel. I built this MCP here. This works for the PMDG 737. I built this console down here with has the movable trim wheel. It's got some fuel switches up underneath here. It's got the parking brake built into it. It's got I call it the trim panel. There's two more knobs over here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I guess you can see one there, and there's one here. This is rudder trim, and this is aileron trim, so if the aircraft has it. These are dials that are on push-button encoders like I have on the radio here. The encoders I have, most radios have, you know, like the dual. You know, where they have the dual dial encoders like this, where you got a big and a little inside, outside, whatever. Those are expensive, so I went with a single encoder with a push button. So then I push in and turn for the littles, and then leave it out for the bigs, basically, and simulate it that way. But anyway, because of the push button, these trim wheels over here, they've got a push button too. Well, when I push the button on it, it centers. If I had rudder trim or aileron trim, it'll center it up and bring it back to zero, which is kind of nice. Let's see what else. I'll give you the wide view here so you can see everything. Do you play do you play truck sim by chance, or farm sim? Wide view, engage. So there's a lot to take in here. Let me see if I pull the stat cam down. Yeah, it's kind of a mess over here. Up on the front of the desk. But you can see here a little bit that I've got my main monitor down here, and I've got 3 up on top. So I have my stream up on one. I have like charts up on the other if I'm doing flight sim, and then I'll have whatever over on the third monitor. The reason why I went with the T configuration with the top and the main monitor at the bottom and not down, there's a couple reasons. One, I got a 32-inch here. These are 27s. The bracket's not big enough to hold them, but the big reason is because this radio and the height of it, you know, it's like eye height across the top here. It would be in front of this monitor if this monitor was down. So when we moved in this house a few years ago, and when we made the move, I moved my desk from the other house, and this desk used to have, this is a big desk, it's 6 foot wide, 3 foot deep on the dark wood. I had an extra 10 inches on the front because my console, to have the throttle quadrant down low to mount it on this console that I built, I would have to have my arm back like this to run it if I put my yoke on the desk. So basically I run some 2x4s up underneath, drilled in, and put a, you know, plywood here. And so that's what I have the yoke on. Again, bring it 10 inches back, so now the throttle quadrant's right here and it's comfortable to use. But it also worked out for my steering wheel. So anyway, this desk was large. It used to have 2 drawers on it, and I was sitting in the middle. If I wanted to drive truck, I had to take the yoke off, put the wheel on. If I wanted to do fly, I had to take the wheel off and put the yoke on and move everything over here, and it was a pain in the ass to move this stuff all the time. So I'm like, this thing's big enough. I could have driving over there, and I could have flight simming over here, and this will work. I had to do some reinforcement up underneath because without the drawers on, which they gave it stabilization. So basically I built some 2x4 framing up underneath. There was holes and stuff to drill to mount it and everything. So now it's all nice and rigid. And so what we do is we want to drive truck. We just slide over here. This is on a drawer. My mixer is on a drawer, so it just slides right in here. So the mic comes over with me, and I get over here in front of my wheel, and I'm ready to drive. This is a G29 base, G29 base shifter. I bought an Eaton Fuller shifter, took the guts out of it, and made my own with an Arduino, seeing it as a joystick. It's a Eaton Fuller shifter, so it's got the range and the splitter in there. I recently just built a turn signal on over here, which is great, with one of these things. See if you can see that. Now, where's the monitor? Monitor's over there. I can't drive like this. So we grab the handy dandy magic box and we go, I want to drive now. And we got a stepper motor, an Arduino, and a stepper motor controller, and some stop switches, and a button, and a wire, and it drives the whole monitor stack over. So we're ready to drive, and it'll hit a stop switch and then back up a little bit, and then backs up a little bit, and then maybe I give it a little touch to center it with the dots, and then I'm ready to drive. And that's how we do it. So I took the monitor tree, all the plugs for the monitor tree plug into a plug board that is mounted on the monitor tree. So I have one cable that comes off for the power, and then it plugs into another junction back behind. Actually, you can see it, the yellow junction box. And then all the cables, I got them all joined together. So, and then they're basically tied down so it doesn't get yanked on. And I had to make sure they're going to reach right for the distance. So it's all just a kind of a nice smooth motion over and smooth back. I've got a camera up here. I've got my track IR. So those both have USB connections to, along with the video cables, so it can move back and forth smoothly. Kind of the same thing with my mixer system. I've got audio cables down here that I've got bundled together. I've got 2 sound cards in the machine. So, and the way I do my audio, I've got everything mixed. You know what you might be able to hear this, but that doesn't go on my VODs. So that's only right now. My mic goes into its own input outside of the stream. The way I run my audio is I have game sounds come out of the system, out the main speakers, and I bring it into the mixer. And then I can control the game sounds on its own channel. And then my mic is on a separate channel that I take into the machine on the mic. The reason I do that, I used to have it mixed with the main game sounds, which can work. But the problem is my machine's got some fans on it that are kind of loud. So I need to filter that out with the OBS filter. But doing that, if I have it on the main and I do that, it will filter out some sounds of the game. So like wind noise and things like that. I found out. So I'd have these quiet spots, or where it wasn't loud enough. And it's like, oh, that's background static we're trying to kill. So that's why I have this mixer that I have, because I can run, it's got group 1, 2, and group 3, 4 that I can run out. So group 1 and 2 go out, and that's my mic. And so that goes into one slot. The main is the game sounds. That's the main. And that goes into the line in on the video card, and that's the feed for the OBS. Then I have another line in on the second card, and that's where the music's going into. So, and that doesn't get recorded on the VOD. Go back over, bring this out. This mixer's a little beefy. It's overkill, but the reason I did it, or reason why I have this one again, because it's got a group 1 and 2 and a group 3 and 4 and a group main. So basically it's got 3 sets of stereo outputs to it. that are selectable, and then everything that goes into everything that goes into the system is my headphones are plugged into the mixer, so I'm listening to them on. I can control these and I can balance the sound out in my ears then, instead of trying to take guesswork for the most part. So you fly GA, you fly jets. I keep every time it goes that hits that stop button, I'm like, is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Is it gonna fail? And just like start crunching. I like to fly a lot of GA, so that's what I typically do. I do have, like I said, I do have the PMDG 737. Actually, I've got some big iron. I've got the I've had the MD-80 like with prepared. I don't think I bought it for Microsoft Flight Simulator yet. I did buy the what is it, the 146 what the fuck it's called, but I haven't spent much time with it. I said I will fly the PMDG occasionally. I'd like to do more, maybe get into it a little more, but I'm just kind of making my way back in. A2As, Comanche, I absolutely love. I loved it in prepared. I loved all A2A planes, all their GA planes that they had. They're just fantastic. Now, as far as GA planes go in Microsoft Flight Simulator for add-ons, for a light twin, Milvises, which is they're now Blackbird, they're 310. There's nothing better, in my opinion. But I also have the Just Flight planes, which I've had them in prepared and everything. So that's what I've been flying lately, and with the Neofly. So I've just been flying this Warrior around. There we go. So, do you have track IR? Oh, okay. If you fly, let me show you something. I want to show you something. All right. So, let's check what my fuel setting is. Oops. Forgot to turn that back. Starts better when you got the mixture on. There we go.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
We're on the right. Okay, we're on the right tank. Actually, let's just do this. There we go. Track IR costs between, I can't remember if it's the one is 149 or if it's 159. So it's like between 150 and $180. Now here's the thing. They've got a couple levels of it. Okay, there's the Track IR with just what I have here, which is the hat clip, which has reflectors on it. It's an infrared camera that sits up on your monitor like a webcam. They have some infrared LEDs that shine, so it's seeing the reflection off these sensors here, or the sensors. It's seeing the reflection off these reflectors here. So the camera sees it. Let me pull this up real quick. So here's the software, and then here's how it works. Two big keys in it, F9 and F12. So F9 turns off the motion, so I can turn my head, nothing happens. F9 toggles it back on. F12 centers it up. So now I'm recentered, and however I move my head. If I move, you look where my nose points, like the edge of my monitor is here and here, right? From where I'm at, comes out here. So as I turn my head, my nose isn't all the way to the edge. If I go basically my nose to the edge of the monitor, that's about 90 degrees where I can see on the monitor, right? And if I go a little bit past that, then I'm looking behind myself, so I can look all the way behind myself. You can look down, you can look up, you can sit up, you can look over, you can look, let me minimize this. You know, you need to see something. Well, let's see, where's that light? Here it is. And you can see how much my head's moving. I'm not moving the full distance. Now, if you had a VR hat on, VR goggles on, you would have to look up like that to see it. You know, if you wanted VR, if you want to look 90 degrees off your left, off the wing, I'm just looking like this because my eyes have to face the screen, right? I would have to look like this to be able to see off the wing, or if I'm looking back on the 45, you got to do that with VR. So the what I want to show you with this is the pattern. Let me roll the time back a little bit. I wonder if it'll let me do that. Actually, I should shut Neofly off. Let's make it noon. So you can look where you're driving, right? This works great for truck sim too if you play truck sim. You can look. Has it got any airplanes coming? If you're on VAT sim, got any airplanes out there coming? I can look. You know, and you're just using your head. It's great because it's like it takes it. You know, if whatever clicky thing or mouse thing you have to do to look around, or keyboard, the beautiful thing about Track IR is it works you towards the dream. What is the dream? What's the ideal? The ideal is getting the mouse and keyboard out of the simulator as much as possible. So I've had
Enjoy your personal flight, pilot.
will
You can
enjoy
search
my
for more
personal
jobs
flight.
after you land.
So I've had talks with people like coworkers and stuff when I was working that was also into flight sim. And we were talking about some things. I said, yeah, I was doing some pattern work the other day, and I said, I'm looking down, looking back, check my alignment on the runway and everything. Let's see, beam the numbers, do all this stuff. And as I'm telling him it, I'm like, explaining it, I'm turning my head 90 degrees while I'm talking to him about it. But it's translating what I was experiencing in the sim, where I'm actually only turning my head 15 degrees, right? And that's what's weird about it. Your brain, after a day or two of playing with track IR will automatically, you know, even though I'm only turning my head a little bit, inside your brain and your memories, you're going to go, oh, I turned my head, you know, 90 degrees or more. So, you know, I'm looking out here. I can see the runway. My pattern sucks ass. I can see that. So you're just not locked in, right? And you don't have to grab a mouse to do it. You just tip your head. And here's the beautiful thing, right? So I'm going to, you know, keep an eye on my airspeed, so I'm not going to follow the sky. We get up here, we're on the downwind, right? So we're doing our pattern shit. And we can look out and we can see where we're supposed to be. So it's just, you know, this is what it's about. This is where track hour really comes in. But I use it for everything, you know, as far as like I don't click around, do camera views at all. So let's pull these throttles back. Trim it up. About 75-ish. Do a notch of flaps. Here we go. We're a little high. That's all right. Start our base turn. What are we doing here? We didn't start it soon enough. We're gonna need a little power, I think. Keep an eye on our airspeed. Pitching for airspeed, right? Oh, now we're high. But we can do a slip too. But I think we're going to come down. We're going to come down real good now. Throttle all the way off. Ooh, easy.
You greased that landing, Ace.
Ah, she called me Ace.
Transporter from dispatch. Clear the runway and taxi to parking.
All right, man, take it easy. Got any more questions? Stop in and ask. If I'm a streaming and you can catch me. He's gonna go buy track IR. I didn't finish telling him about the difference between the track clip and the track clip pro. I don't like the track clip pro.
Let's get out of here.
Do you agree, Scotty? I want a bunch of wires and shit hanging on my head. Oh, I think I should probably call it. Anybody streaming? I could throw it over to Slant Alpha. He does the same stuff. If I can spell him right. That's a bad thing about having a big name. It's not simple. Slant Alpha Adventure or Adventures? With an S. Can't talk him into track IR. He refuses to get track IR. He thinks it's horrible. He tried it once one time and he hates it. So, you know, it is what it is. But I swear by it. You know, the only downside to it is if it's like in your first couple hours, you just want to kind of take it easy and try not to hold your head stiff. You know, you might get a little stiff neck because you're worried about it. You know, or trying to hold still. Let's see if this will go. Yep, it's gonna go. And here we go.
Another one of those little community strips. Community of aviation lovers here all kind of have this shared airstrip together. Who was that hitting us with the raid? Fester Geek, my goodness. That is a blast from the past. Didn't know that you were still up and around, man. It's great to hear from you. Thank you very kindly for the raid. Doing this little series that we call River Run. We're in the WB Sim mod of the Cessna 152 and navigating down the Mississippi River. This is the third river that we've chosen. This is our